So we as humans go through seasons, just like the natural world around us has spring, summer, fall, and winter. We also, throughout our lives, have different seasons, life stages, throughout our years, as well as throughout our days. There is, you've probably heard of the circadian rhythm, and that in general, our bodies are synced with the rising and the setting of the sun. And so we're more active when the sun is out, our digestion is active, our mental alertness, we're working, we're doing, and we're relating with other people. And then when the sun goes down, we tend to turn inward and things start to digest and work internally. We start to restore and reset and rest. The same thing goes with our yoga practice. And so yoga practice and philosophy are very much informed by and come from the sages and the gurus and teachers seeing what's going on in the natural world and recognizing that the same thing happens within us and within our society. With the advent of machines, there has been this idea, or maybe this equation, this equating of the human body with a machine. And therefore this idea that we're working, we'll say 9 to 5, day after day after day, nothing changing, same thing, same, year after year after year. And that's just not our experience, right? I don't think it's been it certainly hasn't been mine. I'm assuming it hasn't been your experience that we are either able or want to do the same thing over and over and over again, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise. And so just as the seasons change, just as our bodies change over time, our practices in yoga can adjust and change and evolve with us as well. They don't need to be the same over and over again. And so we can kind of take off this restriction that yoga needs to look like, our practice needs to look like X, Y, or Z from the time that we're 20 years old, all right, to the time that we're 80 years old, or from summer to winter, or from morning to evening, right? Yoga has in its tradition, its thousands of year old tradition, this ebb and flow, this kind of movement with this yoga as a tool for us, all right? Not to be forced onto us in a certain way. And so all of this to say that our practices change over time, and specifically for the season that we'll be talking about for the rest of this video, right? So it's getting into here in Southwest Pennsylvania, it's going from spring into summertime. And so the practices that we might have done over the winter will be very different than what we're looking at doing in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's cold, it's dry, the days are short, we're maybe more stuck inside, our circulation may not be as strong as we would like, we're eating heavier foods. And so in the wintertime, we tend to take, in the traditional yoga practice, more sun salutations, more strengthening or maybe heat building practices to kind of counteract that cold, dry, dark aspect of winter. And so we want to get the circulation moving, we want to get the blood moving, we want to get the heat built up in the body. And so that is quite different, all right, than maybe what we would want to do in the summertime. Summertime is already hot. Summertime is already bright and active. There's a lot of stuff going on. Our digestion is high. We're eating more fresh foods, lighter foods. We're interacting socially more. And so there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of heat. And all of these things are wonderful, okay? All of these things are wonderful. Each season has its beauty, right? And what we want to avoid, according to the yoga practice and philosophy, is to going to the extremes. Okay, so if we're overheating ourselves, if we're burning ourselves out, if we're burning the candle at both ends, if we are going from day to night, working, overactivity, if we're eating overly heating foods all of the time, okay? And so when we start to push past what is natural, all right, from the natural world, that's when we start to get into lack of ease in the body, in the mind, in the emotions. So we might find that we're overheating in the body. We might find inflammation or rashes more likely. We might find acid reflux happening in the body. We might find that we're more easy to become angry or frustrated, those heated emotions. And so what we can do, what we can use from the yoga practice are these practices, whether it be posture or breath work or relaxation or meditation or lifestyle practices to balance, all right, what's happening in the summertime, the world outside of us, more light, more heat, more activity. We all want to enjoy those things, and yet we also want to balance them with some practices that can keep us from going to the extremes of burnout and overdoing and overheating. And so for some cooling and calming and collecting practices, these would be some things that we're looking for to kind of balance what's happening in our bodies and how we navigate the summertime. And so whether it be looking at a different type of sun salutation, whether it be looking at different foods that we will consume, take in, that will offer a cooling effect to the body, whether it be a breath practice that is more cooling and calming, a meditation practice that's a little more easeful and spacious. Even just the adjectives that I'm using to describe these practices, you start to feel that kind of cooling, refreshing kind of feeling in the body and the mind. And so that's what we'll be exploring in this Wednesday workshop on May 29th. These ideas of balancing out the heat, the light, the activity of summer with these more drawing inward, cooling, spacious, refreshing practices from yoga. And so I hope that you'll join me on May 29th at 5:30. It's a 90-minute workshop and practice. You can sign up online at ownbodymassageandwellness.com or give us a call. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. But I look forward to having you join me for this practice so we can find some refreshment for our summertime and stay cool, calm, and collected. All right, I will see you soon. Take good care.